Good evening, Mr. Steph. How's it going, mate? How's it going?
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm wearing my new little. I bought this shirt in Japan. Actually, it's like a Zelda T-shirt. It's very simplistic. It's basically like the heart
with the hearts.
Yeah, but it's like the third heart is got half. Maybe that's kind of like so far this season we've as a club have figuratively had one one bit of heart taken away from us, but we're still alive and we're still looking quite healthy. But yeah, man, I'm doing well. How are you?
We're looking very good, mate. Very good. Sun's shining. We're having a good first week of October here in the UK. Yeah, and I think your segue, the Zelda anecdote, is a good segue to what we're going to be talking about, which is sort of like another stock take. You know, we've got a large international break. I hate this one. Everyone hates this one. It's the worst one because after 5-6 games of the season, you're into it and you want to know what's coming. The players are settled, the team knows what they're doing, and then to have 2 weeks of no club football is a real kicker. But yeah, we thought we'd take this chance, didn't we, Steph, to kind of just assess.
Yeah.
Now we've seen enough. We know what the club's all about, or this team's all about this year, and take a moment to have a look at the good and the bad. So I don't know where you want to start, but yeah. Where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start?
Yeah, look, I think if we're kind of recovering, resetting expectations or looking back. I mean, 6 games, a couple Coppa Italia games as well. 8 games in total. Probably enough of a sample size to see how we feel like this team can do this season. And the reason I say that was because obviously we were fuming after the first game against first league game against Cremonese, coming off the back of the transfer market and stuff. Who I know you're going to say who had done relatively quite well, Yeah.
Exactly. I was about to say, in retrospect, and it's a bad loss, but it's not like they've dropped off a cliff. They just seem like a decent side this year, don't they? But
and a lot of that comes down to, the second goal was fantastic as well. And I think if you kind of listen to what Allegri says, he wasn't too worried after the game. It was like enough of some of the elements of the things he was trying to incorporate were there. And since then, it's been a big incline on the performances. So I think there is a sample size for us to be confident in what we're saying now. Of course, the season is long; anything can happen. But looking at, I guess, when we'll come on to it, the majority of the squad's there, bar the exception of obviously like Jashari, who's coming back from injury. Liao was kind of just recently kind of came back, and we can come on to him shortly. And even players like Nkunku, who were kind of like new to the squad as well. Whereas I think like the core foundation of the squad is there. There's no massive absentees from an injury perspective. And yeah, we know enough from probably how this team's going to line up for the rest of the year from a formation perspective, who's the starting 11. And we'll tap into a bit of like the players that we feel like have done really well, and the players that have got some room to grow, and that will probably lead us on to where we think there are gaps in the squad. And then we can probably, maybe if we reset our expectations at the end of it, then we can probably touch on that as well. So let's start with who's done well. What areas have done well? I'm going to go to you first, because me and you are probably going to say very similar players here. But who do you think has been our standout players so far this season?
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk department to start off with in which this player operates in. I mean, we said at the start of the season, and most fans said that we were really happy at the end of the summer with our midfield, and we've been proven correct. Yeah, our midfield is brilliant. It really, really is. Not just in terms of current 11, starting 11, but also the depth options we have now. Jashari, question mark, but he's going to be better than Amusa even when he's come back from injury. Let's be honest, he will be. Yeah. So it's really nice to see that. I think it can only be two players. Obviously, it's a joint one for me between Modric and Rabiot. They've both just been fantastic. I mean, Modric is timeless. He really is timeless. The bloke turned 40 and he looks unreal at 40, like really, really good. It was a good decision. It seems like it was a good decision from Tare to go and get him. What Modric wants out of Milan at the moment, what we want from him, it really does seem like a match made in heaven in terms of the game management, where he fits in the pitch, sitting a bit further back. It's just an idea. That is a representation of like perfect recruitment, in my opinion, in terms of the player wanting the alignment and the club having alignment, and that's spot on. So can't say anything about that. But what the player that has impressed me the most single-handedly, and I know who you're going to say, and it's not actually in the midfield, and I kind of agree with you, but I'll let you speak in his flowers because he deserves it. For me, it's Rabiot. He's the player that I've been absolutely like. I knew he was a good signing, and Modric is a Ballon d'Or winner. So if he dropped off, it's because his legs have gone, not because he wasn't good enough, right? Whereas Rabiot, we always thought he was a solid Serie A midfielder. He was good at Juve, but nothing spectacular. But actually, I really appreciate him, and I think he has made us so much more solid. It is unbelievable. I can't even imagine playing a game without him now, which is not even 6 games in. I think he's only played through 4.
Yeah, you would have missed the Cremonese game and maybe the Lecce game as well.
He's missed one. Yeah, he's definitely missed the Lecce game. Yeah, so okay, he's on 6 all comps, but
we might have got thrusted into Lecce game. I can't remember one of the two. If he did, it shows you exactly why we signed him, because we all said it was plug and play. It was literally, his fitness was there, the quality is there. It was basically, he's used to Allegri system and way of playing. It's probably been the most the best signing from a sense of speed to integrate into the team. I would say it's the best signing for that. But yeah, you think you've hit the nail on the head. I think those two players obviously are the standouts. We've recruited well in Ricci and Jashari, who I think, this is the beauty of it as well. We can be patient with them now. I know people are screaming for Ricci to get some good moments. And we'll come on to the other two midfielders as well, who are looking like they're getting his moments. But they're young, him and Jashari's got the injury as well. But it's quite funny when you think about Rabiot, where if you speak to many Milan fans at the start of the summer, and if we started off by signing Rabiot, I reckon a lot of fans would have been a bit like, nah, this, I'm not happy with this. We kind of like went the opposite way. We signed the quality with money, because between Jashari and the Ricci's, there's about, over 50 million spent there.
Close to 60, I think, actually. But
close to this. Yeah, you bang on, actually. Yeah, if you kind of include the bonuses. And Rabiot's on the other end of the spectrum, where it's, I think just over like 10 mil or something like that.
8 mil, mate. 8 mil. Cheap.
Crazy. And he comes in late, where Jashari gets injured. So obviously, there's a bit of cause and effect there. But he comes in late, and it's almost as if like the narrative changes, because it's almost like, okay, we've got the rest of this, like thick department with quality in the midfield, and he comes in as just kind of the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, rather than the first point of, okay, we're going to invest, we're going to start with Rabiot and Modric, which by all means would have still been good, but would have been a different narrative to it, because of perhaps a non-younger player not spending a lot of money on it. So he comes in with less pressure, comes straight in, integrates in straight away, and obviously we're seeing fantastic performances from him. And it's exactly what, to your point, what Modric is offering as well. This calm, composed, intelligent mind in midfield that allows us to control games really well. And we're seeing it with the clean sheets. We're seeing it with the contribution with defensively. Games like the Napoli game, and even Juventus and other games, where he's been so pivotal to help us stabilize and control the midfield. I don't think no stat from a goal scoring or assist perspective can show, because they won't be there. Because I thought we'd get 10 goals plus with him because of his, and we were talking about how does he coexist with
where does he play in the midfield specifically?
But he's like almost changed his position and the way he plays. He does go forward, but he completely understands the assignment of balance and going, if it's not me, then Modric, you burst forward, or Fofana, you burst forward, or Loftus-Cheek, you burst. So it's almost as if that intelligence is really helping us out, because we struggled with that in the midfield, where we had Reinders always, wanting to join the attack and leaving Fofana on an island trying to help out the defense. So yeah, key stability there, and we move on to Fofana and Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek, I think I saw him come on against the Juventus game. I thought he did really well. And he gives us that different dynamic that can drive through the midfield, and whether he drives it through the central midfield or goes on sort of the flank sides, because he has played at right wing back in his past with Chelsea. He gives us that different dynamic of strength and acceleration in those pockets of spaces, where if he comes off the bench, that's not what defenders want to go up against. They don't.
No, it's hard. The ball's hard to get off him at the best of times,
And perhaps is the best we can see out of him is the fact that he can rotate really well with Fofana on that right centre midfielder position in the midfield three. And Fofana, once again, changed our opinion to. I don't think he had a horrible year last year, but he obviously didn't start well, and we all screaming for Richie, and he's doing really well, the guy. So we're stacked. I think that's the whole point. We are really stacked in midfield, aren't we?
It's brilliant. And also I want to mention Fofana. I think he's actually come on leaps and bounds. I think he's benefiting actually from being around better midfielders. I'm not necessarily think he's gotten that much better, but he was really, really erratic. And obviously we had such an erratic season last season in every single part of the pitch, in every facet of the club. But I think he's genuinely benefited. He's gone like, I've got Modric here, I've got Rabiot here. I can play my game now. And fair play to Fofana. He's obviously out of the starting 11 midfielders, out of those two. He is the weakest, but he's still, he fits the team. He doesn't look out of place. I think he looks fine. Yeah. Really happy.
I mean, we'll move on to other departments, but I think that's the key bit. Nothing looks out of place in this team. And I think over the last couple of years, and including when we won the Scudetto, we've seen players play in positions where, if you line it up and you go, oh, that doesn't look right there, or Brahim Diaz isn't a centre attacking midfielder, Salamakers isn't a right winger, whereas this all gets the best out of them now. Like those centre midfielders in that, you're not sitting there going, oh, we've got Fofana there, but we're weak in defence, and because it's part of the overall package of where it looks like on the pitch. Modric, Fofana, Rabiot, Salamakers at right wing back, Stepini at left wing back, covering for the defensive, deficiencies that they may have, and centre backs. We'll come on to all these players, but it's like I think there's a key bit that I think finally it feels like for the first time probably in quite a while, and I'm not to throw shade at Pioli, but because Pioli only had what we had, it's a different squad, different spending from a spend perspective. So I'll give him his flowers. But this is the first time, certainly in a while, that it feels like we've built a squad that gets the best out of the players and plays the best brand of football that helps the overall, team win games. Let's move on to the wing back position, because we won't stay too long on it. But Salamakers is my probably joint best player of the season, next to Modric, and I'll probably edge it to Modric because of the story we spoke a bit about. It's very similar to Modric and Rabiot before, but Salamakers has been, I think he's so pivotal in driving the ball forwards. He's come another one who's come leaps and bounds with his loan moves. His intelligence to not always have to just rush the cross into the box when nothing's on. He calms possession down. He uses left foot more, so he drives the ball inwards. He can use the passing lanes in between the strikers and the centre midfielders really well. Confident on the ball, whether he's holding the ball up or distributing it forwards. Rarely passes backwards. He's just an intelligent player, and obviously the work rate's there. He's not the best in the air. He's not the best defensively, but he, for me, is the one. Well, I mean, there's a lot of players who are the first name on the team sheet so far, but he's up there because he cannot be dropped, regardless if we invest in that position as well, and if whether Atacama is a solution or not as a rotational player. But I think he's so crucial, and I think come the end of the season, we'll be looking at him as probably one of our favourite players to watch from the squad, because how exciting he is. Obviously, crucial goal against Napoli. Good to see him finally start to score. And then Atacama, I'll let you cover the left side, because obviously you love a bit of Estepinian. But Takame, I'm a bit look. There's not enough to kind of to diagnose his quality or